We'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with our invocation, which is our pastor from the church across the street. Followed by a Boy Scout troop. I think it's 394. So, Juno, everybody please rise.
Creator God, as we enter into this meeting, we enter into it with relative peace compared to what's going on in Israel. We don't hear people screaming, being murdered, bombs exploding, and yet we live in wonderful Cerritos. And yet even in this room, Lord, there are probably turmoil is probably going on in the hearts of some people here, whether it's their children making poor decisions, whether it's marriages being dissolved or businesses going bankrupt. Struggles are going on even here. And so I just thank you for those who are in leadership. And even though at times we may not agree on things, help us to treat each other with respect and trust. And while what we do here today and in our families may not have a direct impact in Israel, it does have an impact here where we live. And so in our way, in our small way, help us to, again, remember to treat each other with respect and with dignity. Help our leaders to make decisions that are good for the entire city. And at times, Lord, those decisions are difficult. And people have different opinions. And that's what makes us strong. And so may we listen. May we lead with wisdom and with love. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Color guard attention. Color guard forward march. Color guard halt. Please put your right hand over your heart. Color guard, prepare to post colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, of the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Color guard, post colors. Color guard, regroup. Color guard, retreat. Audience at ease.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you again, Pastor Juno Smalley. He's from New Life Community Church, and a special thank you to Troop 394. Okay, and if we have the city clerk do the roll call, please.
Council and Agency Member Johnson.
Present.
Council and Agency Member Vo.
Present.
Council and Agency Member Yokoyama.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki. Mayor and Chair Barrows.
Present. Next is our presentations, but before we do, I want to go ahead and say that we're going to close in memory of one of my appointees, Chan Young Kim. And I'd like to close in his memory. He passed away yesterday. He's a representative to our Property Preservation Commission, and he died of apparently natural causes at his home. He served as a member of the Department of Education for over 20 years. His guidance and wisdom has helped to maintain the admired aesthetics of our city. And I'd like to also point out that for these 20 years, he served under 3 different council members. He served under Laura Lee, Jim Edwards, and then, of course, myself for these last few years. He was belovedly known as to many as the Grand Master Kim. He earned a rare 9th degree black belt in Judo and Taekwondo. And through his 50 years of teaching, he also earned a worldwide reputation as a premier instructor, coach, and practitioner and mentor. He arrived in Gardena in August of 1971 after teaching martial arts in Australia and several countries in Southeast Asia. And once in Southern California, Grandmaster Kim immediately established the Oriental Mudu School, which quickly grew in prominence and attendance. In 1973, he located his martial arts school in Artesia before relocating to a larger facility in Cerritos 20 years later. And although he was a recipient of many awards and honors and titles, including that of the United States Olympics Taekwondo coach, his greatest success can be measured in the success of thousands of students he taught, educated, and disciplined. Former students often sought out Grandmaster Kim to thank him for the valuable lessons that they learned through their past training. The lessons and insights provided by Master Kim were both invaluable and indelible. Grandmaster Kim's children are products of the ABC Unified School District, including Leal Elementary, Cerritos High School, Whitney High School. The children attended from UC Irvine to UC Berkeley before becoming a chiropractor and optometrist. Grandmaster's son, Jimmy Kim, captured a gold medal for the United States in the 1988 Seoul Olympics in Taekwondo heavyweight division. Grandmaster Kim is more than a revered and accomplished martial artist. He was a humble man, a loving father, a passionate teacher, a servant of the community, a mentor to thousands, and a dedicated friend to those who knew him. I will personally miss him. Memorial details will follow later, but I'd like to offer the Kim family and friends our sincere condolences for their loss, and hereby request that the City Council close tonight's meeting in Grandmaster Kim's memory. And the part that I do want to share is from working with them for the last 3 years, is that when you use the word humble to describe him, I really haven't known a more humble person, especially one as well known as he is. And they mentioned about revered, people honestly listen to him. And I think all of us would strive to achieve that. But I'd also like to invite Linda, who is one of his students, to go ahead and share something.
Yes, I share in the grief with the Kim family. I have known Grandmaster Kim since the 1970s. I was a student of his, and he was like a father to me. It's a terrific loss to the community and to the residents of Cerritos, and even in Orange County as well, where he was also well known. So my condolences to Wanja Kim, Jenny Kim, and Susan Kim, their husbands, and the grandchildren as well.
Okay, thank you for that. And we will close at the end of the meeting in his memory. Next is under presentations. This is starting October 15th through the 21st, the National Friends of the Library Week. The Friends of Cerritos Library is to be commended for their support for the Cerritos Library through volunteer service and helping to fund programs such as the Summer Reading Program, the Art and Writing Contest for the students. The work of the Friends highlights the fact that our library is a cornerstone of our community, providing opportunities for all to engage in the joy of lifelong learning. The Friends also organize successful book sales, staffed the Friends of the East Ridge Library Store, presented the homework help program, and helped promoted our library services. And from the Friends Library tonight, President Shiva Bhatt will receive our proclamation. And Shiva, if I have you come up. Shiva, since I already read most of the stuff here, is there something you'd like to add? Your Friends, I've been involved with them, kind of loosely, but throughout all the years, you guys have done a phenomenal job. And I'll leave the mic with you.
Sure. Thank you. Well, thank you so much. Of course, I want to begin with thanking our mayor, our city council board, our staff, our library staff, Annie, and the members of the community. I can't thank you guys enough. This is truly from the bottom of my heart. You guys have never forgotten us. Every year, we've been honored with this wonderful award, and that's truly such a motivation. Now, since I have the mic, I'd like to say a few words on what we do, who we are, and how it goes from here. So as you know, we're a small little community that supports our library. We help in enriching our community, our younglings, our adults, with the reading program, and of course, the events, the contests, the art contests. And how we do this is by having book sales. We resell used books as a fundraiser. We collect whatever money we collect with that definitely goes back directly into the programs. One of the largest supporters of the summer reading program happens from this event. The books in our fundraising, the most expensive book you're gonna find is for $2. So anywhere from 50 cents to $2. So absolutely affordable, in great condition. We also have people who've heard about this from Chino Hills and Redondo Beach, of course, and all over. I mean, I've met such wonderful people from all over. A good way to make friends as well. After COVID, things have been a little bit difficult. But of course, we're taking one step at a time, and we're doing really well. We're back up on our feet, and we're trying to run. I do want to remind you guys that we have a beautiful program coming up, which we've done in the past, haven't been able to do in the past 4 or 5 years. But we're bringing back something called an authors event. This event is going to have a group of about 6 to 7 authors that come up. You will have a one-on-one time with each of them. You will have a little community going on there. You can talk to them about their books. So I do encourage you. I will put out information, the library, or even in our newsletters. And I'm just a phone call away. My number is everywhere. Please text me, call me, email me, and I will tell you more about this program. So this is our biggest fundraiser. And the reason I'm saying this on this platform here is so that I can get some support from our community. If you are a business owner or a family who wants to support this program, we are requesting for sponsorships at this time, because this is a fundraiser, and it will be a beautiful high tea kind of a setup where we're going to have a beautiful time with the authors. So once again, thank you for your time. And I cannot help but end this with Master Kim, Kwanjanim Kim's memory. This was truly a shock when I heard, because I did not know this happened. He is such an important person in our community. He's not only taught Taekwondo to kids, but he's mentored them. And I've been to his classes, my kids have attended them, and I would sit there the entire 1 hour just to listen to him, life lessons. So a huge loss, but you know what? We learn from that, and we need to give back to our community of what we've learned. So I thank each of you again for listening to me, and once again, thank you so much to the city who's always supported us with this program. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to present this to you on behalf of the City Council. If I can call my colleagues up for a photo. Yes. But I do want to say the programs, what you've accomplished, everybody over the years has greatly benefited, I think, all the children in our city.
Absolutely.
And we're right over here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you for the kind words, Grandmaster Kim. Oh, that's very sad.
Okay, next up, do we have any nominations for any appointments?
Mayor, I have one. Would you like
Certainly.
to open up public comments first, or you want me to go?
No, it's time for you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to nominate Habib Ali. Habib is a resident of the city of Cerritos for 27 years. Habib has called Cerritos his home for most of his life. His childhood in Cerritos and education through Carmenita Junior High and Cerritos High School shaped who he is today. A devoted son, brother, and uncle who values family and understands the importance of public safety. Habib hopes to give back to the community that helped him grow and continue his legacy. Habib is an accounting specialist working at California JPIA with a bachelor's in business administration from Cal Poly Pomona. As a true numbers guy, equipped with Excel spreadsheets and sticky notes, Habib is dedicated to working towards his goal with steady, thoughtful steps. He's an avid sports fan and spends his free time enjoying the tranquility of golf and fishing. And with that, I'd like to nominate him as the next Community Safety Committee member.
Second. And Vita, we do have to have a roll call vote for every vote tonight, correct?
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, that is correct. Honorable Mayor, we also will need to open the floor to public comments prior to finalizing the vote on this item. And if you'd like to do that at this time, it would be the appropriate juncture.
Okay, well, first, any questions? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and open to the public, for comments on this one item. Seeing none, we'll close public comments.
Again, I'll make that motion.
And second.
We have a motion on the floor from Councilmember Vo and second by Mayor Barrows to appoint Mr. Ali to fill the vacancy on the Community Safety Committee. At this time, a roll call vote will be conducted. Council Agency Member Johnson.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Solanki.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Barrows. I'm sorry, Vo. Solanki, I apologize. Got that written down incorrectly. I apologize.
It'll be a yes for me.
Okay, and then Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki
Aye.
and Mayor and Chair Barrows.
Aye.
I apologize for that. And then the vote has passed 5-0.
And with that, I would like to call up my nominee to get sworn in.
Certainly.
Thank you.
I'm going to have you raise your right hand, and then you're going to state your name. So we're going to say I and then state your name.
I, Habib Ali,
Do solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter.
I do, yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. You're lucky she didn't make you repeat every one of those words. So you just have to say yes. Congratulations. And then, of course, at this time, We're going to take a quick picture and then, of course, ask your family, whoever else you want up here to take a picture, okay?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
All right, would you like to introduce who's here? And I'm going to give you the mic, and whatever you want to say, too, you're more than welcome to say.
I want to introduce my father, Mir Ali, my mom, Hajar Ali, my girlfriend, Samaya.
This family picture first?
Yeah, let's do it.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't even know.
Oh, you want
There's-
You don't want to turn it too? Come on. Yeah, come on.
Have you done?
You're good.
He's ready to
It's
go.
up to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, and 3. Excellent.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and close that section and go to public comments. Okay, the first speaker that I have is Amir Greenidge.
Thank you. Hello, members of the City Council, city staffers, and attendees. My name is Amir Greenidge, and I have a problem I'm hoping can be resolved today or within the near future. Before I state my problem, let me set the stage for how this problem came to be. A couple years ago, I was a student at Cerritos High School, and every day I would bike to and from school. Some days I would see a sheriff motorcycle unit, and we would wave to each other as I rode past. Sometimes, if there were no other cars on the road, he would clock my bike as I attempted to get a high-speed record. Well, one day, on my way back from school, I saw a motor deputy on the side of the road and decided to ask him what it's like to be a deputy. What did he do? Why did he do it? And we talked for about 10 minutes before I continued on my way back home. I spoke to that deputy and a couple of other deputies that were doing school bus stop sign enforcement over time. And at the end of the conversation, the deputies would recommend I go on a ride-along once I was older. At first, I thought nothing of it, but eventually COVID happened. So I called the station to go on a ride-along. At the time, I was still in high school, and they said I was too young and the Sheriff Explorer program was closed due to COVID. They wanted me to ask again after I was 18. So I turned 18 during COVID, and eventually I called the Cerritos Sheriff Station and once again asked if I could go on a ride-along. They said the ride-along program was halted due to COVID and recommended I call the Lakewood Sheriff Station. So I did just that. I called the Lakewood Sheriff Station, and the first thing they asked me was, "Are you a resident of the city of Lakewood?" I said, "No, I'm a resident of Cerritos. However, their ride-along program was closed due to COVID." So the deputy said, "Okay, give me your phone number and I'll call you back after speaking with the Cerritos Sheriff Station." A couple of days later, I got a call back basically saying my story was corroborated with the Cerritos Sheriff Station. So she said, "Come on in, fill out some paperwork, and we can schedule a ride-along." So I went in and filled out the paperwork. It was very in-depth and thorough, giving my social security number and ID number, amongst other things. It was a pretty large packet. After finishing the packet, I went on the ride-along, and I have to say, it was amazing. I recommend every person in this room go on at least one ride-along in their entire lives, so that many past, present, and future questions you have on why officers or deputies do this or that will basically be answered. But let's continue on with the story. So I'm currently in the process of attaining my degree in public administration. One of the classes the counselor wanted me to take was criminal justice, since basically you would get the rundown on how future laws or policies you help create would be enforced. So when I was about to sign up for the class, I checked the requirements, and a ride-along was the requirement. So before enrolling in the class, I called the Cerritos Sheriff Station once again to check and see if they had any ride-along openings. And once again, the station said it was closed due to COVID. So I deferred enrolling in the course to the next semester. And again, the same thing. I checked every single month to see when ride-alongs would be open, but still a no. So once COVID started to die down and everything started to reopen, I decided, why not call and ask again? What was the answer? Too many applicants are going through the process, so it was closed. I said, all right, and continued to defer the class over and over and over, and still continuing to call. Still a no. So over 2 years, I've been trying to call and trying to schedule a ride along with the Cerritos Sheriff Station to no avail. Eventually, the scheduling deputy recommended I call again in a couple months after all applicants got their ride-alongs. So in high spirits, I called again near the beginning of this current semester, and the deputy said ride-alongs are only open to applicants. So, still hopeful, I enrolled in the current administration of justice class I'm in right now, and again, I called and was denied. So I started thinking about why were they denying the residents to get the ability to even go on a ride-along. I said, maybe it's staffing. Cerritos can have, at some times, only up to 4 field deputies assigned to the entire city. But then I remembered Artesia had 2 deputies assigned to their city, and they're open to do ride-alongs. They can even request to ride with one of the 2 deputies patrolling their city. Whether or not that request is granted or not is out of their hands, but they would still end up with a ride-along if all goes well. I said, maybe it's too dangerous. However, the Century Sheriff Station that borders Watts and patrols many gang neighborhoods in Southeast LA allows its residents to do ride-alongs. So it's not numbers because Artesia does them. It's not danger because the Century Sheriff Station does it. Maybe it's geography. So one of the sheriff stations I called was Lomita. They patrol the Palos Verdes areas and all of those hills. And let me tell you right now, that scheduling deputy was so excited when I first called that a member of the community they served was wanting to go on a ride-along. He was a bit confused when I told him I was calling from Cerritos. However, he was willing to move mountains to try and get me to drive across the county to ride at his station, a station that I'm not a resident in and live nowhere near. Put more effort into getting me a ride-along than the station that's 5 minutes from my house. So my question is to Captain Strong, when can we allow Cerritos residents the chance to apply for a civilian ride-along?
Okay, Mayor. Thank you for your question. Art, do you have an answer, or can you get staff to answer the question?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to have our staff meet with them now, right outside in the foyer. And they
Okay.
can discuss it and arrange a ride-along. Daryl, would you please go out to the foyer and meet with them?
Absolutely, sir.
Okay, I'd love to hear the results after you guys do get this worked out.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Amir, for coming and speaking. Very well spoken.
Good job. 11 seconds to spare. It's not the first time he's been on stage. Okay, our next speaker is Chris Kim.
All right, good evening, Mayor, council members, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Christopher Kim. I am currently a Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Marine Corps, and I am currently the commanding officer of 1st Combat Engineer Battalion. I brought Sergeant Major Cleveland with me to represent the Marines and sailors of 1st CEB, but the reason we're here tonight is to just say thank you. Thank you to the council, thank you to the mayor, thank you to the Friends of 1st CEB Adoption Committee, and really the residents of this great city for adopting our battalion for almost 20 years. If I can describe the love that you have given us over the years, I'll just tell one quick story, and I'm mindful of the time we have here. But in 2010, I was a young captain, part of this same battalion, and I was deployed to Afghanistan in southern Helmand province. At the time, it was described as one of the most dangerous places on earth. The Taliban at the time were hunting Marines down, primarily through roadside bombs. The city of Cerritos, really through the Friends of 1st CEB Adoption Committee, sent us care packages from all over the city. These care packages were piling up in our battalion CP. My commanding officer tasked me to get these care packages out to the most remote locations in Afghanistan where our Marines were stationed. So I contacted the air officer at the division, and he said it was too dangerous. Helicopters were getting shot at every single day, but I told him it's Christmas. We've got to get these packages to the Marines. And so they figured it out. So one night I got loaded onto the back of a CH-53 helicopter, loaded with hundreds of care packages. And he warned me as soon as we got close to the patrol base, he was going to kick me out because they didn't want to get shot at. So in the middle of the night, we landed, and that crew chief kicked me out with all these care packages, and the Marines and sailors at that patrol base mobbed me, literally mobbed me, because I told them we were coming. That night, those Marines and sailors ripped open those packages from the citizens of this great city, tore into those boxes, ate all the candy, read all the letters from the citizens, and for one night, they were able to escape the horrors of combat. And I saw smiles, I saw tears, and I heard laughter for the first time in many, many months. That is and will be the best Christmas I have ever experienced. And that is all because of the great people in this city and the love and support that you give to the Marines and sailors at this battalion down in Camp Pendleton. And so we're here tonight on behalf of the Marines and sailors to just say thank you. Thank you for your unrelenting support, your unconditional love to us. And I can't say anything more about the residents of this great city. It's been an honor to serve this country because of the fabric that you have built here. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much.
Next, we have Marshall Cleveland.
Good evening, Mayor, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Battalion Sergeant Major Marshall Cleveland. I'm the Battalion Sergeant Major. I serve along with Lieutenant Colonel Kim. To echo what Lieutenant Colonel Kim said on behalf of the Marines and sailors and their families, so we just want to say thank you. For some people who are not aware of what the Friends of Cerritos does, they do a lot of things, host events, but I think one of the most important things they do for Marines and sailors who come from all over the nation, sometimes all over the world, to serve their country, is they bring an extended family, a sense of family to Marines who are sometimes from the Northeast to the Southeast, from all over the country, and they bring a sense of family that is hard for us to replicate. No matter what kind of culture or command climate we have within our battalion, there sometimes is nothing more powerful and more compelling and feels more like an extended family when we are able to bring Marines and sailors up here or have people from this adoption committee come down and they just see people that truly embrace them. And as Lieutenant Colonel Kim describes his experience, I think almost 15 years ago, maybe a little more, I look back at my time in the Marine Corps. I think this is my 9th unit, and this is by far the closest and the best, well-kept, and the most appreciated adoption committee that I've ever been part of. So on behalf of the Marines and sailors and all of their families, because it goes a long way, we just want to say thank you to what they've done. It goes a long way, especially when you have young men and women that are 18, 19 years old, pulled away from their families most of the time by their own choice of their desires to serve the country, and they see people that just show genuine care and concern from someone that is not blood related, but sometimes they're closer to family than most of those men and women will ever have. So again, thank you for everything the City of Cerritos does for us.
Okay, thank you. And next we have Charles Suter.
My name is Charles Suter, and I've been a resident of the City of Cerritos since I moved here and became a resident right after I separated from the service, my first job in 1969. In 2007, I had the privilege of being part of what I consider to be a historic social experiment to see if a small city like Cerritos could adopt an entire Marine Corps battalion. So I'm here today to give you kind of a status report of that. Of course, the best testimony is from the people who received the benefits of the adoption, and to let people know that they're welcome to join the First CEB Adoption Committee. But first of all, the status report. The city is the adopting agent of the First CEB, and they created a charitable organization called the First CB Adoption Committee. And the mission of that committee is to enhance the morale and well-being of all 1,000 Marines and sailors of the battalion. And we do that with a variety of programs. And they're all social recreation oriented. We don't want to replicate what the Marines do for their own men, so we do everything the Marines don't do. We provide funding for all the social programs, their beach parties, their Christmas parties, their trunk or treats. We provide, as you already have heard, care packages when the Marines are deployed, when they come back from deployment, welcome home bags. We invite meritorious Marines up every month to be honored by the city of Cerritos. And we just don't send them home and shake their hands. We invite them to stay and enjoy the amenities of Cerritos. We have a number of sponsors that help us. We have the Sheraton Hotel that gives them berthing for the night, breakfast in the morning. We have a number of restaurants that provide meals. We have Wood Ranch, Macaroni Grill, TGI Friday, Islands Restaurant. Boleros provides them with free bowling. The city provides tickets to the Performing Arts Center, free golfing. As you can see, we take good care of the Marines when they come up. We also provide a lot of hardware that the Marines use in recreation, entertainment. We facilitated their recreation room, provided podcast equipment for their chaplains so we can administer the spiritual needs of the Marines. We have a lot of ongoing programs, but in order to do this and to keep the program going, we need new volunteers. Now, I've been there since the inception, but now I'm an octogenarian +1, and I'm not going to last forever. So people do wear out, and we need new blood. Now, even the Marines have to recruit. Most of the recruits sign up for about 4 years, and in 2 years, every Marine that's now at Camp Pendleton will be gone, and they'll be replaced with new Marines. It's called a concept called continuous continuity, and we need that with our adoption committee as well. So we're always looking for new volunteers. Now, the adoption committee is pretty well polished and well organized, so we only have to meet one time a month. And we always meet the first Wednesday of every month. The next meeting is going to be on November the 1st. We meet at 6 o'clock at Liberty Park. So everyone who's listening to the proceedings, you're invited to join us. And all the public-minded spirit, the people here are invited to join or come to a meeting as well. I will be your host. If you don't make that meeting and you need to find out when the next meeting is, I refer you to the Cerritos News in the back end of the calendar of events. Go to the first Wednesday of that month. You'll see my name there with a phone number. You can give me a call. I can answer any questions you want, but you don't need an invitation. Just show up. First time you show up, you're a guest. You'll get a good feel of what the program is all about just by sitting in and listening. When you show up the second time, you're automatically a member of the Friends of the First CEB. You don't have to do any paperwork, no background checks, no dues, no obligations. You simply will plug yourself into where you think you can do the most good. So again, I want to thank the city of Cerritos for actually adopting the First CEB. I think the experiment is a great success. I also want to take an opportunity to thank one individual here who's probably most responsible for getting the adoption, who's attended every one of our meetings as the liaison, as our city liaison. That's Kathy Matsumoto sitting right here. Thank you very much, Kathy. Appreciate your service to us. And I know that each of you up there supports us. You've been to one of our events, either to present a proclamation, a fundraiser, or come to our meeting. So I thank you very much, and I hope to see some new volunteers at our next meeting, November the 1st. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck, for your comments. And you guys don't leave just yet. Our next speaker is Daisy Lagasse.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. And my name is Daisy Lagasca, and I am very proud member of the Friends of the First CEB. And I always put that in my Facebook about the invitation. So I hope some of you will going to think about it. It's the best organization so far that I am in. It's very meaningful, and it's like my way of saying thank you for their service for this country. Anyway, I'm also here as a chamber ambassador. On November 2, we have our Taste of the Region. I'm inviting all the businesses and anybody who wants to donate gift cards or any their time for our Taste of the Region on November 2 at the CCPA. You can call the chamber, Cerritos Regional Chamber of Commerce. And then also for the CEB, back to CEB, on August 21 will be our golf fundraising. If you guys are playing golf, you can call the former mayor, George Ray. And also, we are also accepting donations for the gift. Thank you.
Thank you, Daisy. Our next speaker is Alfred Reyes.
Good evening, members of City Council. I guess I should start by saying 1, 2, 3, 4, United States Marine Corps. Nice job, gentlemen. Well done. Hoorah, hoorah. Didn't know you guys were going to be here tonight. We'll talk later. In any event, lead with a little psalm. Behold, how good and pleasant it is when brothers dwell in unity. Also a little, let's see if I get this here. Corinthians 12, verses 12 through 20. For just as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body, though many, are one body. And so it is with Christ. For in one spirit we are all baptized into one body, Jews or Greeks, slaves or free, and all were made to drink of one spirit. As we well know by this point, is that I'm a huge proponent of the Cerritos Performing Arts Center. I'll probably be donating some tickets to the Marine Corps now that I know what's going on, so that'll be fantastic as well. But back to the business at hand. President Calvin Coolidge once said in 1925, speaking to a group of newspaper editors, the business of America is business. To paraphrase, the business of Cerritos is business. On October 3rd, we had 98 degrees with All for One. I'm wearing the t-shirt. And I sat down with some friends, as well as Executive Director Jeff, and we cannot remember the last time on a Tuesday night there was a sellout at Cerritos Performing Arts Center. And I've lived here 51 years and gone to the theater since it opened when my parents were both still alive. We can't remember that. And it wasn't just a show. Walls were shaking, women were coming up, and men, they were just rushing the stage. I mean, I realize it's a new transition for many of our older members that when the theater first opened, it was all about golf claps. But I think with Business of America is business, having said that, most residents that were there that night will tell you that they really got a kick out of it when the singer, and again, I can't remember which one it was, I'm not a huge 98 Degrees fan, but, and he said, how many of you remember MTV and Total Request Live? And the place went ballistic. I have told this council repeatedly for the last 3, 4, 5 years since before COVID that a new generation is coming through. They want to see the acts they want to see. And when those acts are presented to them, they will sell at the theater. Along the lines of business is what we do in this community. Fridays, Islands, Wood Ranch, prior to that show, it was packed. Fridays was overwhelmed. They never have business like that on a Tuesday night. They had their manager, they had one bartender, one server, and they were flooded with people going there before the concert. And then after the concert was over on a Tuesday, people still wanted to be, they didn't want the night to end. And again, they went back to Fridays. The manager, Thomas, is pulling his hair like, oh my gosh, where are all these people coming from? Same thing happened on Friday with Smash Mouth and the Spin Doctors. Not a sellout, but the restaurants were packed. Went to the show. After the show, we're all at Fridays, lined up. This is what the theater is meant to do. Again, for those of us who have been around here this long, it was sold to us when we voted on it and was presented to us that, oh, that theater is going to run itself. We are going to put in acts and it's going to sell out. It's not just for the benefit of the citizens here, but for the businesses. It'll be self-sustaining. So what Jeff is doing is a fantastic job. He is putting in acts that people actually want to see, and it sells out. That should be what's going on, especially on Friday, Saturday nights. Those are the drinking shows, the party shows, whatever you want to, however you want to phrase it. But it helps our theater. There's talk in the community now for the first time in as far back as I can remember, like, wow, what's going on at Cerritos? What's going on over there? The next big one they're talking about is the I Love the 90s tour. And kudos to Jeff. I don't know how he got Ashante with Genuine coming in March, but he pulled it off. And they're here. I already got my tickets in the front row, so I'll try to remember not to put the drink on the stage, but, you know, that's probably not going to happen. But anyway, that's another story. So again, the theater drives things, and that's how it was sold to us. It was sold as like, hey, that theater's going to be packed every Friday, Saturday night. People are going to come to our city. They're going to spend money, and then they're going to enjoy themselves, go back and tell their friends for the next show in all different genres, whether it was Frank Sinatra, which everybody remembers from 30 years ago, or Whitney Houston, which everybody remembers from 30 years ago. Jeff is bringing that back. So kudos to him. Kudos to the city council and the new city manager for allowing him the autonomy to do that. It's going to make our city better. It already has. So thank you for your time tonight, and I will see you in 2 weeks at the next meeting and let you know who's up next. Teron Brooks and the company men, I think, are coming up this weekend, so see you there for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Our last speaker that I have is Sam Desai. Hey, Chuck, don't leave, okay? Okay, thank you.
So people can see it. Mayor, I'm sorry I didn't bring a lot of props, but this is for the council. Usually I can bring some pieces of papers. I have very few words on it. But congratulations, Ali, for choosing us and looking forward to serving with you. My name is Sam Desai. I'm resident of Cerritos, and today I'm here on behalf of Cerritos newspaper. What I'm looking for is your stories. You have a lot to share. And something amazing has been happening over the last few months. Chamber of Commerce has been active with other Chamber of Commerces, and I have seen that impact. So I want to say thank you to everyone who is supporting Chamber of Commerce. You know, in our Cerritos, Mayor, we have friends from all sides. We have Palestinians, we have Israel, we have Ukrainian, we have Russian, we have Chinese, we have Philippines, we have Indians, we have Pakistanis. We all live together. And something that we are all good at is looking at each other and being accountable. There are so many who is ready to volunteer. And there are so many of you council people that we come and sometimes we give you a hard time. But you show up when it's time. As our nation and our world is facing many challenges, I'm inviting all to please help me share some messages, positive messages, through this hobby newspaper, if you can say. And what we do is we share about what our students are up to. And it's important to listen to what parents are saying. Safety. It's still important for our seniors. I know that when you come here, when you talk about many different things, you invite, you have different programs, and yet there is not awareness for that. So I'm inviting everyone to, again, whatever efforts you are doing for awareness, and you have invitations, please reach out. On other side, as a resident, I'm also interested as to what happened to getting accountability from our various not-for-profits. And I know we want accountability. I have tried myself, and I will go to different not-for-profits. I'll say, hey, what are you up to? What city is doing? I don't want to go to city clerk, but I want the council to be aware that I am trying to get verification as to what numbers they have submitted, to the city, so whatever chamber is doing, what you have approved for payments, and that next year we do more programs together with other chambers. And again, it's all about working together on this one. Promoting Cerritos. It's important for us. So if you go on Facebook, we are now promoting Cerritos. You can just look at new Facebook pages coming up. Holiday parties, and I know this is difficult times around the world, and we still get to come out and we get to celebrate. And this time I'm inviting the council members to please also show up to these holiday parties that a lot of our neighborhood friends are creating, right? Not just going to one chamber or Danny's or other places, but do that. Social media has played important part ever since COVID into bringing to our Cerrito residents what's going on. You have Cerritos Watch social media page, please visit that. You have Cerritos Council election page, amazing page with a lot of facts that we need, right? We have Cerritos neighborhood pages. Now, of course, Cerritos News as I'm here. Please go and see what other residents are saying. And Mayor, I know holidays are coming and we need to fix some of the streets in urgency. Again, a new manager, we are here for you. Happy holidays, and make time to listen to residents this holiday season. We are good, let world do what it does, but focus more inside, listen to our seniors. Believe me, I do taxes and I'm seeing challenges, right? Things are getting difficult, and plan ahead wisely. And thank you for serving, and happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the council at this time? Do we have anybody, Vita, any written comments or?
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, thank you. Mayor, we do not have any written correspondence that was submitted for the record for this meeting by the 3 p.m. deadline.
Okay, thank you. We'll close public comments. And if I can have the representatives from the Marines, if we can come up and have a group photo with our City Council. And Chuck, that includes you.
What about our president?
Absolutely. Chuck, I want you in the front row.
No, I'm not quite as tall.
All right. Everyone right over here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. And 1, 2, and 3. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
I wouldn't mind having a picture like that.
Hey, Diane.
I mean, with my cousins and.
I'd like to add that if you're at home and you saw this and you know someone that could serve, or you would like to serve, this is a very rewarding group to be part of. And I highly recommend that you take the time to follow up Chuck's suggestion to look in our community newsletter, first Wednesday of the month over at Cerritos, was it Cerritos Park East or Liberty Park? Liberty Park, thank you. Okay, well, thank you very much. Okay, next up is our consent calendar. Do we have
Move to
a
approve.
motion?
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Trying to think, are we supposed to do public comments on these?
You already did
Thank
public.
you, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. The Public comments for consent calendar are part of number 6, item number 6.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we have a motion and second. Can we do a roll call vote, please?
Thank you. A motion has been made by Councilmember Vo and seconded by Councilmember Johnson to approve the consent calendar. At this time, a roll call vote will be conducted. Council Agency Member Johnson?
Yes.
Council Agency Member Vo?
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki?
Aye.
Mayor and Chair Barrows?
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
Okay, we do not have any public hearings tonight. And then we do have item 9A, which is a consideration of a proposed amendment to our 2023 Cerritos Public Meeting schedule. Can we have a staff report, please?
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. This first new and old business item 9A relates to the scheduling of an upcoming strategic planning session related to the preparation of the next fiscal year budget. The presentation this evening will begin with Ms. Barone, and then she will pass it along to Mr. Kemp, and following that, he and I would be happy to answer any questions. They and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Modification of the City Council public meeting schedule is before the City Council this evening for review and consideration. The schedule is presented for modification from time to time as information related to city business needs and events arise. At this time, I will turn the staff report over to Budget Manager Peter Kemp, who will provide additional detail regarding the proposed scheduling of the Strategic Financial Plan Study Session for fiscal year 2024-25. Peter?
Thank you, Vita, and good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Last fiscal year marked a significant milestone for the City of Cerritos. On Saturday, January 28th, 2023, the City Council convened for the city's first ever strategic planning session. During this session, the Council worked diligently and collaboratively to reach a consensus on the 5 priority goals for the fiscal year 2023-24 budget. However, there were certain logistical challenges that arose from the timing of this session. As the Council is aware, the budget development process is an intensive months-long endeavor. It demands early preparation and diligent coordination across all city departments. Given this, staff had to initiate the development of preliminary budget proposals well ahead of the January session. Having reflected on the process and considering areas for improvement, it became apparent that the timing of this session can be adjusted to better align with the budget process. This observation was also discussed during the budget study sessions, if you'll recall, from last fiscal year. In light of this, staff is recommending holding the strategic planning session earlier in the fiscal year. This would allow for full consideration of the Council's directives prior to beginning the comprehensive budget development process. Staff has identified Saturday, December 9th, 2023 at the Cerritos Senior Center as a potential date. Alternatively, the City Council does have the flexibility to choose any other date for this session, including during a regular meeting, such as the regular meeting of Thursday, December 14th, 2023. The Strategic Financial Plan and Budget Preparation Policy, as currently written, states that the session is to be held on a Saturday in January or February. It's important to note that this policy was written and adopted before the city's inaugural strategic planning session took place. Additionally, the policy was designed as a living document intended for periodic review and adjustments to improve its effectiveness and efficiency. Given the lessons learned from our recent experience and in anticipation of further refining our processes, staff recommends a minor update to the policy. This change would support the proposed date for the next session and also offer more scheduling flexibility for sessions in subsequent years. In consideration of this information, at this time, staff respectfully recommends that the City Council review the proposed modifications to the 2023 Cerritos Public Meeting Schedule and Policy, receive public comment, and, if necessary, direct staff to include any further final modifications, and approve the tentative addition of the Strategic Financial Plan session to the 2023 Cerritos Public Meeting Schedule, pending modification of policy number 2.04, with the following options for date and location. Saturday, December 9th, 2023 at the Cerritos Senior Center, or Thursday, December 14th, 2023 during a regular meeting in the Cerritos City Council chamber. Finally, direct staff to draft minor modifications to policy 2.04 to allow for more flexibility in scheduling the strategic financial planning session and present the revisions to the City Council for final review and consideration at a subsequent meeting. That concludes our presentation, and myself, Mr. Lopez, are available for questions.
Thank you, Peter. Robert, are there any questions? Linda?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Peter, the council receives a calendar like of upcoming events and activities. I noticed that there's already a scheduled date for budget session 2 and 3. However, I didn't see one for budget session 1. Is that because we're waiting to see when the planning
Thank you for your question, Councilmember. Yeah, that is correct. If you'll notice, I believe the session itself is on the calendar, but it does say TBD for the date. So one of the things, again, in kind of reviewing the process from last year, first, we were hoping to move this strategic financial planning session up sooner in the process, and potentially also move that first budget study session earlier in the process. If you'll recall, last year, we held that in April, very shortly before the publication of the preliminary budget. And so what we kind of, that meeting, as it's described in the policy, is for a budget process update and also to kind of refine the strategic plan. If you'll recall, last year, that meeting was held to identify those actionable objectives related to the priority goals that the council has, or had rather, identified. So we see this as an opportunity to move the meeting up and potentially even hold it during a regular meeting. Last year, the meeting was a standalone. It was pretty quick. I think the entire meeting was about an hour long or so in April. And we do think that once we get that initial directive from the council for those priority goals, similar to last year, staff will kind of convene to come up with some potential objectives related to those goals, present those to the finance committee, and then during that first budget study session at a regular meeting, present those for consideration and review. So at this time, we are waiting to finalize the strategic financial planning session date, and from there, likely hold that first budget study session probably sometime in January or February during a regular meeting.
Thank you, Peter. And one other question. If we were to hold it on Thursday, December the 14th during a regular meeting, would it just be that item on the agenda, the budget planning, and the strategic planning session? No, it would be a regular meeting with other items on the agenda. Would it then will there be any consideration then to start that meeting a little earlier to allow time?
If I can address that question, Councilmember, we would work to ensure that the agenda focus primarily on that item, and then any other business matters that are required to be addressed that evening be also addressed, but items that could wait be scheduled accordingly so that the focus can be on that item.
I ask because I do have a conflict on December 9. It's a holiday season. I already have made a commitment. Is there any consideration for November, late November?
And that's what we're seeking from the City Council this evening, where we have a schedule attached to the last page of the staff report of existing meetings, not only of the City Council, but also of other commissions and committees. And if there's an interest in holding that agenda item at a regular meeting or at a different day, we have these dates here for your review and consideration. So we're open, we're seeking to lock in the date so that we can begin the planning around it, and then likewise come back with the revised policy language for the record.
So we're in discussion, correct, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
So is there?
Okay. I do all the questions, but after public comments, we can go ahead and go through all the stuff.
Okay, thank you. I'm done.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and open for public comments. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close public comments. And now, Linda, we'll go ahead and address your rest of your comments.
All right, if there was consideration for November, obviously November 27th would be out because that is our tree lighting ceremony. I don't know if this council is open to November 9.
Monday night?
No, Thursday. You don't like Thursday?
No.
Okay.
What about December 2nd?
It's a Saturday. I'm
Yeah.
open.
Okay,
I
I'm
hope
just saying,
everybody
we're looking at how many hours it took last time. It's
Sure.
going to be approximately the same, I'm pretty sure. Chung, what about December 2nd? Frank?
I support having it on December 14 as part of our regular meeting. I
December.
remember that when we had this on a Saturday morning, January 28, 2023, you know, I'm committed to my service as a council member, but that Saturday, January 28, 2023, I was also I'm a coach of a City of Cerritos youth basketball team, and that's important to me too. So, you know, Saturdays and Sundays are important for certain things. We can take care of this business on other than a Saturday morning or a Sunday. You know, the staff for some reason recommended Thursday, December 14. I'm willing to start early and end late and take care of the business of the city on December 14.
And Naresh, what about you?
Yeah, December 14, I cannot start early. We do have a family wedding, so I might have a actually conflict for that December 14 day too.
Okay, thank you.
I don't mind having a Saturday, December 2nd.
Well, Frank, you have a assistant coach, right? I mean, all the years I coached, you know, I had to miss one or two, you know, because of city business. But
I mean, it's
I'm just saying we have four people that
City
said-
League. City League basketball starts in January, so there's no games going on in Saturdays in December.
Okay, so you're okay on December 2nd?
No, I would like to do it on Thursday, December 14, which is a day that's scheduled for the city council to take care of the business of the city. So all 5 of us should be there on December 14 to take care of the business of the city, and we could include this as part of the agenda, just like Robert Lopez indicated that a December 14 meeting would primarily focus on the strategic planning session, and the only other things that would be on the agenda are things that have to be taken care of that night. Everything else would be moved to a later meeting, according to Robert Lopez.
I just wanted to clarify, Naresh, did you know December 14 is a Thursday, the day you were going to the wedding?
Yeah, well, when we scheduled this, the date for the wedding wasn't planned, and then after the scheduling date came, and it's my niece's wedding, so
Oh, okay.
I am going to have.
Sorry, I just was wanting to make sure you knew it was a Thursday.
If I may also offer some additional comments, we do have the option of other regularly scheduled meetings prior to the December day. We do have on the schedule the November 27th meeting. Obviously, it would provide less time for staff to prepare, but it's certainly an option. And also, I'll add that we are currently revisiting the format of the meeting, and it may be possible that the overall format would be shorter than the prior meeting that was held back in January.
Okay, the reason why I bring it up is not that I want to go ahead and disagree with an earlier comment, but I remember going to a strategic meeting when I was on the Planning Commission, and it was held in, or you might recall, Marina del Rey, you know, back in the, I think, early 90s. before, my first election. But I think you're correct. This is the first one held within the city, last year. That one back then, the council and staff started on a Friday night, all day Saturday, and ended on somewhere on Sunday. The Planning Commission was allowed to participate on Saturday only. And looking at the last meeting, it took hours to get through everything. What we went through before was obviously more than a full day. The experience I had with the Gateway City Council of Governments and other organizations, these meetings always lasted 4 to 6 hours, just to get through everything. So, I'm dubious that we're going to be able to get through, city business, all the things we have to get through, plus do something like this here with public comments and everything else. And to have a meeting start early when people are at work during the work week, I think is going to hinder the ability of our residents to attend. It's the same thing about staying late. I don't mind staying late. I've been here until 1:30 at night, but most people have to get up and either go to school, go to work, whatever it is. It's going to make it very difficult to have a public meeting with good participation. So,
Mayor, how about Mayor? I'm sorry. How about December 9th? What?
Well, 4 of us said we're fine. Frank is the one that's saying he prefers not to.
I'm not available December 9th.
I'm sorry. On December 2nd, there's 4 yeses on it.
I mean, I would like if we could squeeze it into a November meeting, only because we have so many commitments coming up in December. But that's just my 2 cents. Robert, you did say you guys are going to approach a different format. I mean, I think with the first one last year on that January Saturday, of course it took long because we were all new to the process. We were setting our goals. I think we kind of already know what our goals are.
We're currently discussing that. We haven't finalized anything, but the thought was that because this council was present at the last meeting, that some of the background perhaps could be shortened and then focus more on the discussion related to the actual strategic goals.
Yes, Chung?
I'm good with weekends as well, so I'm okay with that. Whatever weekend.
So Mayor, can I make a motion to have a December 9th?
Well, December 9th, Linda already said she has a conflict. Frank has said he's not going to be available on the 9th either.
I thought he said December 2nd.
He said that too.
No, I didn't say that I'm not going to be available on December 9 or December 2. I said I would prefer
Okay,
to
I'm
take care of it on December 14.
I apologize.
When we are scheduled to regularly take care of city business.
Okay, I'll go ahead and so we can just make this move. It sounds like any date's going to be a conflict with at least 1 or 2 of us, so I'll second that in the last motion.
For the 9th?
Yes.
I'd like to make a substitute motion to have it on December 2nd.
Okay, we have a substitute motion. Vita, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Was there a second?
For the second, for the substitute.
Was there a second for the substitute?
I'll do just allow it to go forward.
Thank you. There is a substitute motion on the floor by Councilmember Johnson to hold the strategic financial planning study session on Saturday, December 2nd. The motion was seconded by Mayor Barrows. At this time, a roll call vote will be conducted. Council and Agency Member Johnson?
Yes.
Council Agency Member Vo?
I actually want to have some discussion on that real quick before we voted, but does anyone have a conflict on December 2nd? Nobody, right? So, okay, I'll vote aye for that as well.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki?
No.
Mayor and Chair Barrows?
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 3-2.
Now, Darish, just for the record, you did originally say you would be available for the 2nd, though, correct?
We voted for the 2nd.
No, I know we did. I just wanted to be, to reaffirm that you did say yes originally.
I'm getting echo in here, so sometimes I'm listening, sometimes hearing, sometimes not. So, okay.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Mayor, if I may, given that the date has been tentatively scheduled by the City Council on December 2nd, we will come back with an update to you regarding the venue. We will have to confirm the location, with the City Council chamber being a potential backup option if an offsite venue is not available. And with that, we'd also would like the City Council's concurrence with the recommendation to make minor modifications to the budget policy as it relates to the scheduling of this meeting. And then we would, at a future meeting, come back with those revisions for consideration.
Is
Need
there concurrence?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was part of the motion. Wasn't that motion staff recommendation to also bring that back already?
Yes, actually, Mayor and members of the council, it sounded like the motion was just specifically for the date on December 2nd. So whether it's done by concurrence or motion, we just want to make sure that we have direction from council. It may be best just to go ahead and take a motion and a second and take a vote on that particular question.
That was actually on the agenda, so I think we should vote for that.
Yeah, I would agree. Might as well do that.
So I'll move for that.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Vita, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Thank you. A motion has been made by Councilmember Vo and seconded by Councilmember Johnson. At this time, a roll call vote will be conducted. Council and Agency Member Johnson?
Yes.
Council Agency Member Vo?
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama?
Abstain.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki?
I'm sorry, what are we voting on?
This item is the recommendation to revise the strategic planning session of financial study session policy so that the would provide flexibility for the date and it would return the policy to the City Council for consideration at a future date.
Okay, aye.
And Mayor and Chair Barrows?
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 4-0 with one abstention, and that the abstention is by Councilmember Yokoyama.
Okay, 9B is a consideration and award of bid number 1522-23, which is printed at the Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts calendar of events for the upcoming year, or I guess the balance of the year. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. This presentation this evening will be given by Ms. Hilton, and following that, she and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. The printing of the Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts 2023-2024 calendar of events was identified in the current fiscal year budget. The cost for printing the brochures was estimated at $84,000. Staff issued a public notice with a bid due date of September 20th, 2023. The city received 2 bids. The low bid was received from Southwest Offset Printing in Gardena in the amount of $82,106.85. Southwest Offset Printing printed the CCPA's 2023-2024 season brochure, and its bid for the calendar of events was found to be responsive. Staff recommends that bid number 1522-23 for the printing of the theater's 2023-2024 calendar of events be awarded to Southwest Offset Printing in the amount of $82,106.85. This concludes my presentation, and at this time, Mr. Lopez and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Annie. Are there any questions?
Yes, please.
Yes, Frank?
Thank you, Annie, for the report. Since the 2023-2024 season started over a month ago, what is this calendar events that's going to be printed based on this bid number?
Yes, thank you for your question. The calendar of events will be mailed on November 27th, and it will promote all of the wonderful holiday shows that are coming up at the theater. December is a very busy, very productive and lucrative month for the season at theater. And it will also promote all of the shows in the remainder of the season and all of the performances that were very recently added to the season coming up in the spring.
What's the print run and how many are going to be mailed out, please?
We are going to mail 550,000 copies, and I believe we're printing about 555,000 because we do use some for distribution at city facilities and copies to be available at the theater.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and open to the public. For Frank? Nope, excuse me. Is that Narish?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We'll open to the public for comments. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council at this time? Seeing no one, we'll close public comments. Look to council for direction.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, so moved and seconded by Frank and by Chung Vo. Vida?
Thank you. A motion has been made by Councilmember Yokoyama and seconded by Councilmember Vo to approve staff's recommendation for item 9B. At this time, a roll call vote will be conducted. Council and Agency Member Johnson?
Aye.
Council Agency Member Vo?
Aye.
Council and Agency Member Yokoyama?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki?
Aye.
Mayor and Chair Barrows?
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
Okay, next on the agenda is 9C, which is a review and consideration of award of contract for sports complex fencing refurbishment. Robert?
Thank you, Mayor, and again, good evening, council members. This is a request for award of contract related to an ongoing capital improvement project at the sports complex. The presentation this evening will be given by Ms. Mann, and following that, she and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council members. Tonight, I will present to you the consideration of an award of a contract for rehabilitating a portion of the existing perimeter wrought iron fence at the Cerritos Sports Complex. The improvements include repairing and replacing the existing fence at this facility and painting it. The remainder of the presentation will be on the screen. The current adopted capital improvement program identifies sports complex fencing refurbishment project to fund these improvements. As mentioned earlier, this project focuses on rehabilitating and replacing a portion of the perimeter wrought iron fence. In the current fiscal year, it is anticipated that approximately 500 linear feet of the fence will be improved. In the current fiscal year, fencing near the recreation building and field numbers 1 and 4 will be rehabilitated. This slide shows before and after pictures of the sports complex fence that was rehabilitated in the last fiscal year. As one can see from the photo on the left, there are missing and rusted sections of the fence. The photo on the right shows the rehabilitated fence where missing pieces were replaced, rust was treated, and painted. On September 20th, 2023, the city clerk received and opened 3 bids for the proposed work. As indicated on the slide, Everfence Corporation of Santa Fe Springs submitted the apparent low bid. Staff has reviewed the contractor's license and has verified that it is in good standing and appropriate for this type of work. The total proposed cost to perform the fencing improvements will be $34,000. The current adopted CIP budget provides sufficient funding to perform this work. It is important to note that this work has been determined by staff to be categorically exempt in accordance with SECA guidelines. The exemption is provided as the proposed work is considered a repair, maintenance, or minor alteration of the existing facility. At this time, staff recommends the following actions. adopt the finding that the project is categorically exempt pursuant to the SECA guidelines, award a contract in the amount of $34,000 to Everfence Corporation and reject the other bids, and authorize the city manager or his designee to execute any project-related change orders. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time. Mr. Lopez and I are happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions?
I have some questions.
Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you for the report. So I appreciate that we're improving the fencing at CPE. I'm sorry, not CPE, Sports Complex. But one of the issues there right now currently is the grass. I mean, I ride my bike there all the time. I know I've heard some complaints from soccer players, and I get it. That I think one of the reasons why is because in the future we're going to be redoing that park. But if we're going to be spending money on fencing to improve, which I am all for, but the impact right now on the field for the community is, I think, it's even more important to address because you have. I was there when AYSO were playing soccer, and they're kicking up dirt. I was actually really shocked to see some of the kids just run around in the dirt, and that was their field of play at the sports complex, here in this fine city. So I guess I'm asking is, we're spending money on the fencing, and it looks like, we're budgeted for a larger amount in general. Are we planning on doing anything in regards to the lawn? Because it's hard for me to sit here and think that we can't grow grass in the city of Cerritos because it's on a landfill or whatever. There's got to be something we can do for AYSO and for just everyone that comes and takes part. Because you look right down across the way past the pole line, down Kanabe Park, the grass is greener than I've ever seen. But on our side, it's unfortunate the way it looks. So is there anything we can do besides the fencing there?
Yes, thank you, Council Member. I can address the question. Yes, as you mentioned, the site prior to the current use was a former landfill, which over time has led to issues with the existing soil condition. We actually have in the capital improvement program a project that has been budgeted that would address the issue by removing a significant amount of the topsoil, regrading, put in additional new sod. Earlier this year, we went out to bid. Unfortunately, we did not get any responsive bids, but we are reworking the bid specs and are preparing to go back out to bid. And then when that proposed contract comes to you, then we would seek your recommendation to approve. Okay. So it is in process. We are aware of the situation. Staff has observed the same condition, and we're currently working to address it.
So I understand we always have it on the capital projects, and sometimes they get moved to the next year, to the next year, to the next year because of whatever's going on. Is this something that's on high priority for us to address when you bring it to council?
It is indeed. This is currently actively in the works, and we'll hopefully come back to you fairly soon.
All right, thank you.
Are there any other questions? We'll go ahead and open to the public for comments. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council on this item? Seeing no one, we'll go ahead and close public comments. Look to council for direction.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Vita, roll call vote, please.
Thank you. A motion has been made by Councilmember Vo and seconded by Councilmember Johnson to approve staff's recommendation for item 9C. At this time, a roll call vote will be conducted. Council Agency Member Johnson?
Aye.
Council Agency Member Vo?
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Solanki?
Aye.
Mayor and Chair Barros?
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 5-0.
Okay, next up on the agenda is item 10, which is legislative items. May we have a staff report, please?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. We do not have any legislative items to report this evening.
Okay, under item 11, which is reports from the city manager, executive director.
And we have nothing to report this evening, sir.
Okay. City council communications. Started the right last meeting. We'll start at the left. Frank?
Thank you. So earlier this month, I attended the ribbon cutting of the new Raising Cane's in Artesia with our Cerritos Chamber of Commerce and President Deepa Badwar. And it's doing very well. It's a business that has a drive-through, and that's one reason the business is successful, from what I've seen ever since the ribbon cutting. And also, I attended the Cerritos High School versus Gar High School football game at Rance Stadium last Friday. And after the game, my son and his friends went to Raising Cane's, probably like almost every other high school kid who was at that game. So when I drove by, I did not go there, but when I drove by, it was packed. It was crazy, and my son told me that that's the busiest he's ever seen a Raising Cane's. So kudos to the city of Artesia. They bring in customers, and those customers are also going to shop and dine in Cerritos. But that is a reason why I'm glad that this council earlier this year supported the opening of a drive-through Starbucks on an underutilized parking lot over on the corner of Del Amo and South, where the Target is. Bloomfield and South. No, Bloomfield and Del Amo. Sorry, Bloomfield and Del Amo. And it's my understanding that Starbucks will be opening up in 2024. I attended this past Saturday SoCal Diwali 2023, sponsored by our own supervisor, Janice Hahn, at our Cerritos Regional Park. It was a well-attended event, and I'm glad that this was an event in our city, our great city that celebrates the diversity of our city and a important, robust, vibrant part of our Cerritos community. And thank you for Janice Hahn and the committee that worked so hard to put on that event. I understand it's their second annual event. So thank you for choosing Cerritos as the home of that important Diwali event. I also, the next day, attended the LA India fashion show that was put on at our Sheraton Cerritos. So I would like to thank that event and their organizers for having that annual event, that important community event that celebrates the diversity of our city, having that annual event in our city once again at our Sheraton Cerritos. Earlier this week, I attended the official sign unveiling of Koreatown Buena Park. Thank you to the Buena Park City Council and Councilmember Joyce Ahn for having that event and inviting me. And again, that was a recognition that this region that the Cerritos is a part of is a diverse community, that a city right near us has such a robust Korean community that of residents and businesses that they have officially designated a significant portion of their city Koreatown Buena Park. And I looked at examples like that on how we can embrace the diversity in our city as well and promote the businesses and our diverse mix of businesses in our city as well. So along those lines, it's important to me that our city is it's one of the most diverse cities in the region, in the state, in the country. We are that unique city that is over 60% AAPI. And a big portion of that 60% plus AAPI of the residents of the families of our city are Filipino American. And I was excited to see that our Congressmember Steele, nationally in our House of Congress, Congresswoman Steele introduced a bipartisan, bicameral resolution recognizing October 2023 as Filipino American History Month. So our Congresswoman representing our city took the lead to recognize Filipino American History Month along with her colleagues in Washington, D.C. So Cerritos is known for being a city with a robust, vibrant Filipino community of residents, of families, and businesses. So I was hoping that my colleagues would agree that we should have a resolution by our city of Cerritos and our city council honoring Filipino American History Month, just like our congresswoman did in our state capital. And perhaps we can do this at our next meeting in October, which is still Filipino American History Month, October 2023. And perhaps we can consider, along with the resolution, some presentations. And that's my thought. Do any of my colleagues want to chime in on that?
Would you agree to recognize any other group in the city that has a responding type month so we cover everybody equally?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
And maybe, thank you for bringing that up. Perhaps we can, in the second meeting of this month, hopefully kind of catch up and we can recognize National Hispanic Heritage Month. Because I agree with your comment, and perhaps we can recognize National Hispanic Heritage Month and Filipino American History Month in the next meeting of October, and we'll keep this council will discuss and consider similar resolutions and presentations in the months ahead.
If we have staff, if everyone concurs to, create a calendar so we know what's, happened so far this year and what's the future is, just to make it, even footing, for the city. And the fact that we do have such a great diversity, to me, and Frank, thank you for, supporting that, because I think it really creates a level playing field, for everybody.
Yes, and I agree. You took the words you took the words out of my mouth when you said our city has great diversity. And I think this is just a natural extension of our city taking the lead of being the leading city every year recognizing Dr. Martin Luther King for decades. And so I'm hoping that this discussion that we're having today, Bruce, will lead to additional recognitions and resolutions by this city council, along with presentations that can be offered to you for your consideration. Thank you.
Linda?
I'll also give consensus. I give consensus. Thank you.
Okay, so that's 3.
There, I got 3. Yeah, I'm in.
Okay. Did you want to make a comment, or?
No, I'm good with it.
Okay. So Frank, thank you for your comments. Linda?
Thank you.
Thank you. I attended 2 big shows at the CCPA. 98 Degrees and All for One was on October the 3rd, and Smash Mouth and Spin Doctors on October 6th. I was really pleased to see so many residents and even our own employees attending these shows, and so glad that so many are enjoying our theater. On Saturday, October 7th, Supervisor Han sponsored the 2nd annual Diwali Festival of Lights at Don Kanabi Park. This is an event that is hosted by Radha Krishna Mandir. I'm so proud to be a part of this committee for the past 2 years. We worked tirelessly for the last few months, putting on the largest Diwali festival in the region. This year, the event drew in about 2,000 folks, which is actually a great number, being that there were 3 other events going on that same evening, including the Artesia Diversity Festival. We had almost 40 vendors selling food, clothing, jewelry, and so many other items. Supervisor Janice Hahn was also in attendance and was very pleased to see how successful the event was. So on behalf of the committee, we thank the supervisor for her continued support. And I'd also like to thank my colleague, Councilmember Frank Yokoyama, for being there, as well as Bellflower Mayor Sunny Santa Ynez. And we also had a special guest, the Deputy Consulate General of India. I'm also pleased to see that the city is offering to our residents, through a raffle drawing, an opportunity to ride the Santa float. Through the generosity of Supervisor Hahn, as well as the Auto Square, they were able to provide the float to our residents, and I'm hoping our residents take advantage of this opportunity to ride this float. With the current crisis abroad, I'd like to ask our captain of the Cerritos Sheriff Station to provide a brief update on the station's efforts to ensure our residents are safe. If you could, please, Captain.
Sure. Thank you for the question, Councilmember. We're aware of the current threats displayed on media outlets. Currently, we have not identified any specific threats in Cerritos. We're taking the matter seriously and we'll be deploying additional personnel in sensitive areas throughout the city. The department will continue to monitor social media outlets and news outlets to identify potential threats. And our deputies are trained throughout the year and prepared to respond if an incident does occur. Also, the city has purchased additional response equipment for active shooter type situations. We have another active shooter training event that we're going to be holding later on this month at the mall. And in conclusion to that, the department has additional personnel assigned to Cerritos, and our deputies are trained and prepared to respond to the terrorist incidents. I'm not going to go into the deployment of the deputies in regards to that, but we are prepared.
Thank you, Captain. I know you and I had several conversations, and I'd like to thank the sheriff, as well as the captain, and our station deputies. Very much appreciated.
Thank you, ma'am.
This past year, a few of us council members attended this Independent Cities Association conference. Although the city is not a member of the association, we do attend and benefit from various seminars that are offered. In fact, Bruce, if you recall, we were having a discussion with the president, Richard Montgomery, about the importance of these conferences. And I think at one time you worked with him on past issues. So being a member city is not only beneficial to our city, but also gives us a seat at the table when talking about local control, affordable housing, public safety. Cerritos needs to be in those discussions. Since a few of us are already attending those conferences, it would just make sense to become a member city and receive member discounted rates. So I'd like to ask humbly from my council colleagues for consensus to direct the city manager to have staff bring back a report on the possibility of the city rejoining as a member city of the Independent Cities Association.
Linda, I'm not sure it's about rejoining, to be joining.
Oh, joining.
Okay, and I've been an advocate of that, well, obviously for decades. So you have my support.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we have to be transparent about this. I agree with what Council Member Linda said about what our council and our city can learn from being a member of the Independent Cities Association, and their seminars, their conferences will make the council members who attend learn best practices and learn critical, important information that is shared to the attendees of the conference. The transparent item I want to bring up is their meetings are on the same night as our city council meetings. That's the issue that I identified about attending ICA events. However, weighing the fact that we normally can't attend their monthly meetings with everything else they offer, including their seminars and conferences, I give my concurrence.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, I do apologize for jumping in, and I meant to jump in earlier, and I apologize before we get too far down the line. We wanted to get some clarification on the consensus item forwarded by Councilmember Yokoyama because there was some discussion, and we want to make sure that the record is memorialized correctly. At this time, the consensus that we captured direct the city manager to schedule proclamations honoring Filipino American Heritage and Hispanic Heritage Month at the next regular city council meeting, and to develop an annual calendar scheduling recognitions of community diversity. Is that reflective of the consensus? Because I believe that there was some discussion of resolutions. Typically, the city will issue proclamations, and we certainly don't want to memorialize the record incorrectly.
Okay, and I apologize for not making it clear, but Frank, go ahead.
You like the idea of proclamations?
Well, we've done it in the past. And to me, since this is the proper month for the Filipino part, do you mind if we just take care of that one, identify everything else?
I agree.
Okay, and then...
I agree with that clarification of the consensus.
Okay. Is that more clear than mud?
Yes, and then at this time, would we not have the Hispanic heritage as well, or we do the both?
It's just Filipino at this point.
Okay.
We'll do the
And then we'll
last
develop
look at...
the calendar of events. Okay, thank you so
And-
much, and apologize.
And then address everything else appropriately.
And I will point out that your clarification is accurate, because by the time of our next meeting, we will only be in Filipino American History Month. National Hispanic Heritage Month is ending this week, October 15. So we can identify it, so we can, as discussed in the concurrence by the City Council, we can identify it for definitely considering a proclamation and maybe some presentations actually during the time of the month.
And thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, for allowing us to make that clarification.
Yeah, and thank you to my colleagues.
Okay. And you have the other consensus item?
What we have memorialized at this point is to direct the city manager to provide a report at an upcoming meeting regarding the city joining the Independent Cities Association. I did not know if there was a consensus received on
There
that
was
item.
consensus. I didn't hear from Chung or Narish, but yeah, there is 3.
Duly noted.
Okay. Linda, are you done? I am. Okay. Chung?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try and be brief. September 29th, I attended the Cerritos Moon Festival at Heritage Park. It was an outstanding production by the city staff. I know we purchased about 1,200 lanterns, and we ran out of those with more people asking for them. So it was very well attended compared to last year. Last year we had 1,000 lanterns, and we ran out. And so, as you can see, this festival is getting bigger and bigger, and I appreciate all those surrounding cities, the residents that came out. We had residents from all over the Southern California area. And I know that there were some companies as well that were doing the same event, but a paid event where you had to pay admissions to get in at certain locations like Las Vegas. I think one was in Riverside. And the photos they had from their event was exactly like ours, but ours was always free for our residents in surrounding cities. So I'm proud that we offer that to our community. There was also people that showed up in costumes, and it was pretty cool. So I appreciate the city and the staff for doing that. And then September 30th, I attended the Cerritos Elementary School fundraiser pancake breakfast. Very well attended by a couple of school board members as well. And it was a lot of parents and a lot of pancakes and sausages being dished out. So that was a good event. October 1st, I attended the Volunteer Coaches Appreciation Picnic along with our mayor and the mayor pro tem. And with that, we were there to recognize all the volunteer coaches that participated in the city leagues. And it was a fun event. I participated in the Jenga competition. I think I made it to semifinals and I got knocked out, but I wanted to contest it because it was all win. That knocked mine down, but I accepted defeat. And it was fun. October 3rd, I also attended the 98 All for One concert. I was so impressed by the turnout of that performance. Being a Tuesday night, ideally, normally we've never had that, and I was very impressed at the turnout. So impressed by that show that I know the whole center row G was all my friends and all my all those I asked to buy tickets, and we all had a good time, and it was well produced, and we were able to really enjoy a great Tuesday night. So thank you to the CCPA staff and Jeff. Let's see here. October 7th, I attended the ABC USD Community Showcase held at Artesia High School, and it was the first time they had booths and had groups there to showcase the district. Every single school had a booth, and you could talk to all the principals. But what I got out of that was our new superintendent, Zitlow. She gave her speech, and I got to tell you, she moved to me, and I think this district is in really good hands with her. She gave her story of how she came to where she was at and her family. And she talked about education and how her mom went back to school and received a degree as well after the fact. She became a teacher as well. So, and they surprised her mom with flowers, and she was at the attendance at that event. So it was a good showing, and lots of parents were there. And I stayed there probably. I got wrapped up in walking around the booth, and I noticed the city of Cerritos had 2 booths there. One was for the library, and so I want to thank Annie for allowing the employees to be there to represent our library, and also Parks and Recs. And there they had the Santa float sign up for those who want to be raffled to get a ride on the Santa float. And it's nice to see how that Santa float has gotten so popular, where we're now raffling tickets to those who want to be on there. So it was a good day. And And thank you so much, Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you. And by the way, do you have any idea how many people showed up for the Moon Festival?
Well, like I said, there was 1,200 lanterns that were sold out, were not sold, were given out, and we ran out, and there was more people. My wife and I were sitting at a booth where people were, asking for lanterns, and I gave the employees there a break so they can go enjoy the lantern while I sit there with my wife, and there's still people coming up, and so we had to tell them we were out. So there was a lot more people there than what we had in lanterns. So hopefully next year we'll probably get a little bit more.
Thanks. I heard there was parking was a premium.
Yeah.
I mean, overflow at the high school and so on.
Yes.
Okay, Naresh?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I attended with the Councilman Vo and the Assemblywoman the Cerritos Pancake Breakfast, Cerrito Elementary School Pancake Breakfast, and also the Liberty Park Volunteer Coach event, and the Councilman Vo amateur did beat you, so it was fair and square game. And that's all I have to report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And by the way, I hope you're enjoying your anniversary over there in somewhere in France, right?
Yeah, the council meeting started at 4 o'clock in the morning, so it's all good.
Okay, well, thank you very much for taking the time to join us again.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to go back and revisit something that Linda Johnson brought up about Santa's Float, the fact that we do have a lottery, for people to ride on it. And for more information, if you could call our Recreation Services Division at 562-916-1254. And these are, the Santa Float dates are Monday, December the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, and the 16th. And the next item is, since Naresh is out of town, I was asked, he asked me to take his place at the Gateway City Council Governments meeting. And one of the things that came out that's going to affect our residents is the improvements to the 605 freeway and, of course, the interchange of the 91 605. The 605 freeway, it's going to be in 3 phases, and it's going to start down at the 405 freeway heading north. And this is going to take I believe, through 2028 or even a little bit beyond. That's going to have an impact on our residents and, well, everything, coming and going. But if I can ask staff to go ahead and include in the mail, in the city newsletter, or whatever, so more than once, so that people are reminded that this is upcoming and it's going to be starting very, very soon. And I think the result, they said, we're going to basically end up with a brand new freeway. It's going to be super smooth and done in a way that we haven't seen since it was built new. And then the final thing before we go to closed session, I want to remind everyone that we are closing in memory of a very beloved member of our community with a huge impact, and that was Grandmaster Chan Young Kim. And Bill, if you can take us to closed session.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. I'll now read the items that are set for closed session this evening. Item 12A, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation to consider initiation of litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subdivision D4, number of cases 1. 12B, conference with real property negotiators pursuant to California Government Code Section 54956.8. The property is 19700 Bloomfield Avenue with APN 7044-015-906 and 1990 Bloomfield Avenue with APN 7044-015-902 in Cerritos, California. Agency negotiators would be Art Galucci, the city manager, and Robert A. Lopez, appointed city manager. And the negotiating parties are the County of Los Angeles and ABC Unified School District. And under negotiation is the price and terms of payment. And closed session items 12C, 12D, and 12E are public employee performance evaluations pursuant to California Government Code 54957 for the city manager, city attorney, and city clerk treasurer. And with that, we can recess to closed session.
Excuse me. Thank you.